Do you feel the buzz?
I'm Adam Ward,
And I'm David Williams.
and we're going to
Gonna
teach you how to change
a
your tire.
Go.
The first step is having a toolkit.
Toolkit, check.
Next step is having a crank.
Crank, check.
You also need a jack.
Jack, check.
Also need a spinner.
Spinner, check.
Then you take off the spare tire cover.
Spare tire cover, check.
Take off the spare tire cap.
Spare tire cap, check.
And then you get the spare tire.
Spare tire, check.
Alright, the first step is to identify that you have a flat tire.
Seems a little flat.
Okay, David.
Next, you must find a place to put the jack. So you want to find a sturdy place, because if you don't put it, say like right here, the metal in the car will bend and your car will not go up. So you have to find a sturdy place, typically right next to the tire, as so. So now you must hand crank it until you find the top to hit a sturdy part on the car. So we must hand crank. It will take a while. And here we have found a sturdy part in the car where we can begin to crank the jack. So once you have found a sturdy spot for the jack, you must loosen the lug nuts, but not take them off. So now we will loosen the lug nuts. How do you loosen these?
Oh, there you go.
In a diamond pattern going across, not in a row. So now loosen this one. That's good. That's good. A little bit too much. Just a little bit. That's fantastic. Now we like to go in star pattern. Okay, so now while we are loosening the lug nuts, it is essential to place a heavy object in front of the car and behind the car to make sure the car does not move while we are loosening or taking off the tire. So now that we have loosened the lug nuts, we will continue on the jack until the tire is lifted off the ground. Like so. Now, this may take time, so you have to be patient in your cranking.
Do not get overwhelmed. It's a very tedious task.
So after a couple minutes of doing this task, it might become very tedious. So it might be key to switch off in intervals to get the task done faster. Go, 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 go.
He's doing great.
Now, you want to keep making sure that the jack is properly placed and that the metal on the frame is not bending at all. If so, lower the jack and restart until you find a sturdy position. Now, it seems to be in a sturdy position, so we will continue to raise it until the tire can be removed. Actually, you're good. So once we have reached a high height in the jack, where you think you might be able to take off the tire, we will now take off the lug nuts completely, as so. Other way. Goes this way. Oh! Right. Oh! You might be able to undo it.
Perfect.
And make sure you keep them in a good pile so they don't roll away or you end up losing. Because if you lose them, well, yeah, that's going to be a problem.
Number 2.
There will always be 5 lug nuts. I hope so.
I see Bob on my car. We're good. Number 3.
3. Now, as so, remember, you want to take it off in a star pattern. So now that we have all 5 lug nuts off, we will pick them up and put them in a pile where they will be safe. Perfect. So now we can try to take off the tire if we think the jack is high enough, as so. Oh wow, here you go, David. Thank you. So now we have the tire off, and we can begin to put the spare tire on. So when putting on the spare tire, to know which tire is the front and back, you would want to look for the pressure gauge where you can release and unrelease air. Once you have found that, you will put that facing outside of the car. So we will line up the lug nut holes with the screw holes and put it on as so. Okay, so once we have the tire lined up, we will hand screw on the lug nuts in a star pattern. this way. Which way is the star? This way.
So, when putting them on, remember to put in the star pattern. If you do not do so, you will over-tighten one side, and the tire will not roll in a complete circle and roll more in an oval shape, which will make you think that something is wrong. And
Elongated.
could cause more problems to your car. So always remember, star-shaped pattern.
Remember Patrick Starr.
Bro, this screw won't go. Like, it doesn't screw fast.
Give me the crank. We're gonna have to crank this.
So once you have hand tightened the lug nuts, we will continue to tighten the lug nuts until they're completely secure in the star-shaped pattern as we must follow with the crank. That is tight. Remember, star-shaped pattern. That's tight. Mother.
So before completely tightening them until you cannot tighten them anymore, you want to make sure the tire is touching the ground so the tire doesn't spin as you do so. So we might need to crank a little bit more. Good. So you might want to get down low to the ground so you get a good view of it. Alright, you're good, D-Will. So now that the tire is completely touching the ground, we can tighten the lug nuts until they're untightenable. That's pretty sturdy. Now we're continuing to do this in a star pattern. Pretty sturdy. Okay, well, it doesn't matter because we need 16 minutes. We still have to jump a battery. Oh, yeah. Alright, ready? So now that the lug nuts are tight, we can finish it off by taking off the jack and lowering it and removing the jack. So once the jack has been removed, you have officially changed your tire, and you can put your regular tire back where your spare was, and you can leave the premises. Next, we are going to show you how to jump a dead battery for a car. So first step is to open up your hood. Now usually there is a little panel under that you must pull up and then you'll be able to open. As such.
The next step, you will want to have a pair of jumper cables, like we. Here you go.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now, let's say his car is the dead car. You will put the cables on that car first. Red to red, red cap, black to black. Black.
Black to black. Dead car is
Next,
secured.
you will take the other pair of jumper cables. Be sure not to touch these two to the side. Red to red. Black to black. The next step is to turn the working car on to jump the dead car's battery.
Working car. So once the live car is running, me, the owner of the dead car, will go into my car and we will turn on the car, and the car should work, and this car should jump my car, and then we can take cords off. So now that my car is running, we can now carefully take off the cords.
Be careful, they may be hot. Your car has officially been jumped.
Shoot. So now we can close our hoods and continue on with our exciting lives. Oh, there we go.